is Nightmare Alley.
Yes. This movie was really interesting. I think it's got a lot going on in it.
Yeah, for sure. I had never seen this, but I had seen the Guillermo del Toro remake that came out
Mm.
a couple years ago,
Yeah, I didn't see
which is
that.
very similar. I mean, they're both based on the same book. The del Toro movie is a lot longer, and so has more stuff happens, and you kind of feel like you get to know the characters a bit better.
Hmm.
It's not a Hays Code movie, so it's a lot darker. Like it doesn't have kind of like the edges sanded off quite as much as this one does.
Hmm.
But like even so, I think Nightmare Alley is a very dark movie
It's
for
yeah,
the time.
it really is.
And like not just because like there's like death or whatever. It feels there's like a nastiness to it. There's like a genuine just like dark kind of psychological. There's something just kind of intangible under the surface of this movie that feels dangerous and kind of doom filled.
Yeah, I mean, any movie that has a tarot card scene where they're like, "Oh
Right. Yeah.
no, what's gonna happen now?" Because
Which honestly is one of my only kind of gripes with this movie is that stuff. But I think that's just because like that has become such a cliche
I
and
think
such a
those
like
scenes are
overused
typically
trope.
yeah, I think those scenes are typically kind of annoying, but it really works here. I think it works well to
It works
like
because of the setting and
it's the
because of the
dread.
setup and
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like because it's amongst carnival people, it feels a bit more like earned, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I totally know what you mean. Like it is I was kind of shocked, honestly. Like I was like when I was watching this movie, I was thinking like maybe, this is the marker of the Hays Code really starting to lose some of its power because this movie is grim stuff with bad people, and it's not like there isn't like a sense of like justice or goodness in the movie, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering now if it does follow the kind of like crime Hays Code stuff because I'm pretty sure that spoilers. I'm pretty sure Lilith does get away with crime in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue that Stan doesn't really because he is sort of has this sort of karmic justice done to him. But I would definitely say this is a noir movie, mostly due to its sort of yeah, it's a crime movie and it has this like really doom filled tone. But unlike Out of the Past, which is like very classical, like detective solving crimes setup, this is about just like a desperate, opportunistic man who's like trying to get ahead in life
Yeah.
by through lying and deceit.
He's scheming through the whole movie and basically just like hustling the entire time.
Right. Yeah,
With
he's a con artist.
yeah. You wanna give this a quick synopsis?
Sure. So Stan Carlisle is a carny as in part of this like mentalism gig, helping out Xena, who is like the head of the show, who he's also somewhat kind of romantically involved with, and Xena's husband,
Pete.
Pete, who is a uh, deeply alcoholic. The other carnies are like, oh man, like Pete and Xena, like they used to be big time. Like they used to like have like a fancy show where they had this secret code where they pretend that Xena was reading people's minds. And so Stan, being a opportunist, wants to know what the code is, but Pete won't give it up.
He says over my dead body.
Right. Which and then Chekhov's line of dialogue. He accidentally gives Pete a bottle of wood alcohol, which naturally Pete, being an alcoholic, drinks and then dies from drinking.
Yeah.
Stan sort of takes over the show. He learns the secret code and then takes that show on the road with Molly, who's another carnival worker that he also has a sort of like romantic
That's
involvement
the
with.
that's the PC term, right? Carnival worker.
Carnival, as opposed to what Carney
Yeah.
is that is that not allowed.
No, I don't know. I
Um,
assume I think they don't like it.
all right, I won't say it. He goes on the road with Molly, who is also at the carnival and who has a sort of electric chair act.
a
One of
carnivaled
one of those
individual.
one of those classic electric chair acts that people do.
Yeah,
Um,
with like a special effect, like the one kind of special
yeah.
effect in this movie.
So then he's working the sort of fancy magician circuit. At one of them, he meets Lilith, who's a psychiatrist, and with her starts to cook up this scheme to sort of a more of a long con against this wealthy man, Ez what's his name? Ezra Grindle, which is a great name.
It's almost a Harry Potter name, I feel like.
Pretty much, yeah. In order to convince him that he's a medium, which Stan refers to as the spook racket, which is now my favorite way to refer to a medium. I'm gonna really piss off whatever mediums I meet now because I'll be like, "Oh, you're a medium. Ah, you're in the spook racket, are you?"
Hmm. I'm a large.
Of course, Nat, he ropes in Molly to that too, and of course that goes horribly awry. Lilith takes all the money that he's made, that he's like entrusted her with, and then tries to gaslight him into thinking that he's gone crazy.
Yeah, because she's a therapist. She's a
Right.
psychiatrist or a
Yeah.
psychologist. And so like, yeah, he part of what's going on here is that she's secretly recording all of her therapy sessions
Mm.
onto records, and she's got him too, and she's got all the dirt, or he kind of spills his guts, and now she's got all this like dirt on him to both hang it over him and manipulate him with.
Yeah. But then he's like, "Oh no, like you were in on this the whole time too. Like I'll bring you down with me." And she's like, "I this delusion of yours is really quite upsetting. Like you've formed this fixation on me." And it's like, "Oh, yeah." The her kind of like very calmly turning the tables on him is a great moment. So then he has to go on the run. He sends Molly away, and then sort of falls back back into alcoholism slowly. He's on the run. He's like, hopping boxcars and stuff. It's the depression, and until he finds himself back at a carnival again, and he's like, "Hey, I got this mentalist act. I can do this." And they're like, "We don't need mentalist acts. We got it, but we do have this one job. And, it's only temporary until we get a real geek." Which also, right, we've set up the geek at the beginning, which
Yeah.
is in circus terminology is just like a crazy guy who eats chickens and is like, you know, more beast than man, and it's actually just like a drunk guy that they keep in a cage, which is a real thing that circuses used to do. And so then Stan becomes the geek at the circus, but then Molly is at the same circus and sees him, and they have like this brief moment of reconnection right before the end of the movie, which turns out was made specifically for this movie. It is not in the book, nor is it in the remake. Both of those end with Stan accepting the job as the circus geek, sort of with by saying that he was made for it, which is a recurring line throughout the film.
Yeah, yeah. The movie opens with like looking over a crowd, being kind of horrified at the geek at the circus that he starts at.
Right. They never really show
And
you the act. You kind of
yeah,
see the geek from afar at other points, but they never really show you what the audience is seeing.
and they kind of allude to also in this movie that it is considered to be like, I don't know, there's like the circuses that have geeks and there are circuses that don't, and like people kind of like amongst the community, they're like, you're kind of like, you're in like a low class circus if
Right.
they have a
If
geek,
you if you
which I
have
guess
if you have just a
was a
drunk
real
guy that you
sentiment.
keep chained up, yes, that is considered of lower quality. It's like, oh, yeah, you're not quite in the up and up if you have a geek in your show.
But apparently it was a thing that that they would like kind of, they were like alcoholics or drug addicts, and they would bribe them or
Hmm.
pay them with the substance of their choice.
Yeah.
um which, yeah, dark. I mean, that's the thing, it's like this movie is really dark. I think the moment that really made me start thinking about the Hays Code was, and just the darkness of this
Mm,
movie was the part where the main character accidentally kills somebody, and
right.
he feels bad about it, but there's no like, and in a way it kind of catches up to him. But there's a lot of, yeah, kind of poetic turnarounds in this movie. He becomes a drunk because he like killed the drunk other guy. But like the movie just lets you sit with that like he accidentally swapped the bottles, and he was originally trying to have like a kind of tender nice moment
Mhm.
with this guy, and it turned into something horrible because he gave him poison accidentally, and then he just kind of slips out, and he's just like, I'm gonna do my best to not deal with this.
Yeah, yeah. Right there. I mean, I think there's a lot in this movie about addiction. I mean, specifically alcoholism, but like I think even Stan is sort of also kind of addicted to the act that he's doing, of sort of like the power that he sort of has. And they think that he can read minds. He is shown throughout the movie to be kind of like not like unnaturally good at it, but it's just like
He's
his
got the gift of gab.
right. It's like he's very charming, and he's very good at just like talking people into stuff. And so naturally, once he's given a little bit of training, he can really convince people that he knows what they're thinking. Um
Yeah, and you mentioned also the code that they
right.
come up with, and there are all these scenes of people delivering the code, but like doing it in like, the code has to do with, you're indicating letters of a word based on the words that you say and like what stress you put on what
Yeah,
syllables.
it's like the
And
number
so
of words that you say is a number, and the number corresponds to an object, I think. It's like they start to explain how it works, but not fully.
it's cool. I like it
Yeah.
though, because like you can kind of feel like, oh, like I can hear the code being said,
Right,
even though
right.
there's like probably no actual,
I
logic
it
behind
does
it.
make me wonder if that is based on a real code for this type of act.
It could
Because
be.
like
I
I
mean,
mean, cold
yeah,
reading is a thing. Like I think this movie is very kind of like demystifying towards like mentalism acts and psychics and that sort of thing, where it is like
yeah.
while also still being
Even
like, but the tarot is true. Like that's legit.
I mean, I think the tarot cards being true is just a thing that you're going to have in any screenplay that has tarot
Right.
cards in it.
Yeah, of course. Because
Uh,
it's like it's way more interesting to have them be true. Yeah. Always.
yeah, I mean, it's like the curse of like things being, this is kind of a gripe that I have. If like anytime you see a psychic in a movie or tarot cards in a movie, like it's always going to be true, because and it's always going to confirm this thing that, I don't know, in my opinion is not very real, because like, uh why would you have it in the movie if it didn't
Mm,
do something
right.
for the movie? So then,
I mean, I
you
because
know,
I think the way that the tarot is framed in this movie is maybe not is I think how most people think of the tarot, which I don't know if like is 100% accurate. My kind of, and I'm not an expert on this, but my understanding of how like tarot readings work is it's less about predicting the future and more about like giving you stuff to think about and
right.
look
Yeah.
within
And
yourself.
that's reasonable. That's
Yeah. And I
reasonable.
think
But like,
that the it does kind of play that role in like it does sort of predict narrative stuff that happens in the movie, but I also think
mhm.
its main thing is that it's like Stan is very doubtful of it, but then he starts to get really like freaked out by it because it does start to line up with things that are actually happening.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think there are some moments in this movie where, like, this, you talk about demystifying, right? And like this movie has a kind of fairly like a skeptic's viewpoint, or like the main character is just like, come on, fancy, like, you know uh paranormal stuff, whatever. But then I think it's interesting that it's like there are a couple moments where the movie almost like threatens to break
Mm,
reality a little bit and like become like somebody can really read minds, and then it pulls back again.
right.
But I
Yeah.
think it makes it almost believable that it's like gonna do that, and then it pulls back, which I think is
Yeah.
kind of cool. But yeah, like you mentioned cold reading and hot reading, or like they name drop cold reading,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
think is like, it's kind of interesting. It's like, we're familiar with this term now. I don't. It's interesting to know that it was like there then. It feels very in the know. And then they
Right.
have this whole hot reading scheme as well.
Because I don't really know if right, I do feel like a lot of that stuff is kind of a little bit more common knowledge now. I don't know how much it was in 1947 or how much
Yeah.
like the book this is based on or this movie was really kind of like blowing the lid off of like mesmerism and mentalist acts and if that was like I wonder if this was like pissing people off. They're like, "Don't tell them."
This is like the uranium in Notorious, right? It's like, how
Right.
did he
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I don't really know anything about the book this is based on. I'm very curious though if it was like written from a place of knowledge of like I have to imagine it was of like actual circus acts and that sort of thing because it does feel very specific and very from what I know, accurate to sort of what 1930s kind of circus acts were like.
Yeah, I mean this feels like Freaks adjacent in
Yeah.
that like it feels very kind of in the know about like
Mhm.
the world of circus
And
performers.
and it not being really that judgmental against like it is definitely the movie is definitely presenting that like geeks are fucked up and like that's not a thing that people should do. That it is a form of like indentured servitude. The movie is also a little bit kind of like it understands the kind of romanticism of like circus and carnival life. I mean,
Yeah.
Stan has kind of like a short little monologue where he's like, you're always on the move and you never know who you're gonna meet. And you always feel like you know something that no one else knows, and it makes you feel all superior. And you're like, oh, I get it. That's what Stan likes. But so and it doesn't. It's like I feel like the a lot of the other characters aren't they're not all presented as like scheming con artists the way that Stan is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like this and Freaks, they're both movies that I think being a circus, working in the circus, being a carny is cool. But then sometimes there are these like, opportunistic, I don't know, cynical people who love power and who love being a dick for no reason.
Mm.
And they ruin the fun for everybody. That we thought they were one of us, but they're not one of us. Google Gobble.
Ah. Yeah, I guess we should probably mention the main character, Stan, is played by Tyrone Power, an incredible name. Who I don't think yeah, we haven't watched any other Tyrone Power movies. But he was a real kind of like, classic leading man actor. He was
He
the
looks the part.
after Douglas Fairbanks, he was sort of the main Zorro actor for a long like throughout all like the 40s. He was in a bunch of Zorro movies. And so that's like kind of what he's mostly known for, I'd say, is his like swashbuckling roles. And this
Mm.
was apparently like him really trying to take a big swing and like I think he was the one that pitched it to the studio of like I want to make a weird carnival noir movie, which is cool to see. And he's very good in it.
Yeah.
Like it's like because he does all the he's got all the sort of like I'm good looking, I'm charming, everyone likes me, and then he's I feel like also gets the both the kind of like being high in his own, not in his own supply, but like right him sort of getting a big head about it, and then also his like his insecurity whenever he's actually presented with a real problem. I think the ending does feel a little bit too nice for the rest of the
Yeah.
story. Yeah, I mean, I did. You have not seen the Del Toro movie, you said, right?
No, I missed it. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I really liked it. I know that not everyone did, but I was a big fan. There are a couple things that I think are like, it's like the Del Toro movie starts earlier than this one does. Like we see Stan like arriving at the circus and like getting his job there. Molly is I don't know how different she is in the book, but I feel like in this she never really stops doubting Stan at any point. Whereas I think
Mm.
in the Del Toro movie, she definitely does. She's like, you're doing messed up stuff. I'm out." And then yeah, like the ending, it ends at like when he meets the guy and he offers him the liquor, and he's like, "All right, I guess I'm a geek now," which I does feel like it's the most kind of poetic end point
Yeah.
to this story.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that that's where it originally ended and kind of where it is supposed to.
I mean, in a way, like, he's kind of a scoundrel through this whole movie, but like it is also through the protagonist's frame of view, right? Like the geek is this otherized person. It's like somebody who you think of as they even kind of talk about like oh, is he even human or this kind of thing, and it's like do they talk about that? I don't know. I
I think the
r-
like the Barker does, but I don't know if
right.
yeah.
But like, and then it almost, it humanizes that, right? It's like, here's a person who is so sunk into alcoholism that he is willing to do this degrading act in front of people. And like, everybody has a journey there,
Yeah.
like we can have empathy, even though this guy, is a scoundrel. Like we still have some empathy for him, and we can kind of see like, yeah, like he is a person. This guy who we think of as like who is kind of being presented as this subhuman thing, like is a person who has feelings and was put in this position,
Yeah.
which is interesting. I think
Right, because
that's
like
good.
at the beginning of the movie, Stan himself was like, "How could a person get to this point? Like he can't understand like how a person would do this." And so then to see
Yeah.
over the course of the entire movie, him ending up in the exact same spot is, yeah, it is a very. I do like that kind of the full circleness of it. It feels very, very clean, very poetic. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. As real quick, I'll just say that this is also directed by Edmund Golding, who we
Mm.
haven't seen his movies yet, but I saw Dark Victory, which he did, and I really liked that. And he also did
Grand Hotel, right?
yes, Grand
The
Hotel.
the Oscar-winning picture.
Yes, yeah. So just
Also, Joan Blondell is in this movie, who was in a bunch of the like early '30s comedies that we watched, and has now sort of graduated to a bit more of a like character actory role.
hmm, what was she? Huh?
She was in like
I guess.
Gold Diggers of 1933
Oh
and a
wow!
couple other
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
look at that. Huh? I didn't recognize her. Cool movie.
yeah,
I like carnival movies. Who
yeah.
doesn't like a carnival movie?
I don't know. I certainly do.